Guys, why are you single? I don't try. That might just be me in denial, but I legitimately don't try. I make no efforts to not be single. Being fat and shy surely isn't helping me out. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Unfortunately, I live in the desert. Oh, you go to an engineering school? I'm in my 20s, and I'm a paraplegic. I yell out to the monkey that lives in my backyard. I'm very bad at picking up on signals. Try moving away from other electronic devices that might interfere with your reception, or install a cellular repeater. If that doesn't work, switching to a 2G network might work. It has better coverage than 3G or 4G, but offers a lower bandwidth. I was hanging out at a girl's house in like sophomore year of high school. On her bed, she was wearing those socks from Costco that say KB on them. I say, I wonder what the KB on those socks stand for. After a couple funny suggestions of what they could mean, she goes HMM I dunno, kiss Bailey. Bailey being her name. I say, haha maybe, and then continue to give suggestions for what they could possibly stand for. I fucking die whenever I think about it. I've just stopped trying. I'm too awkward to connect with most people on a romantic level, and the times I have connected with someone, they've almost invariably turned out to be toxic in one form or other. I do get lonely, but I've found that's a lot less painful than either rejection or just being with a very wrong person. I've stopped trying too, but kind of for different reasons. I never dated growing up because to even introduce a girl that was just a friend to my family resulted in the classic oh Captain Flapjack has a girlfriend, regardless of the complexities of those relationships. To have any and all interactions you have with women scrutinized below a microscope of assumption just makes a child uncomfortable with even mentioning the notion of romance to you. To this day, even with whatever short flings and such I have had, I think in my whole life I have only once mentioned a girlfriend to my parents, and this was well after our relationship disintegrated. So it goes. I've found in general though, that I'm just not into the responsibility of a relationship though. Some may call that a defense mechanism, but honestly I've never been disappointed or hurt enough to really warrant it, I don't think. Never really dealt with rejection cause I never got to the point of wanting to ask someone out. The reason being that, even if I've been interested in a girl, as I've grown up, I find myself just getting bored at some point. That's with relationships, as it's with all my interests in general. I just lose focus fast, and in the case of romance I find myself having to ask, do I actually want this, or is it my wiener talking? In general, I guess it's kind of selfish, but I think I just don't want a responsibility or obligation towards someone, short or long. Even a one night stand type affair seems like too much effort at this point. To get to know someone briefly, get in a scenario for both of us to please one another, dealing with the obligations therein. I don't want a house. I don't want to think about the costs of paying for or maintaining a car. I like animals, but I don't even want to own a dog, because having something love me unconditionally frightens me to no end, because I'm often lazy and too tired to want to provide for that alone. Pitting my general attitude towards responsibility and obligation in the context of a relationship just makes me think that I would, at some point, lose interest in working at it, which just is not fair to do to someone who works at you. Relationships are an exchange of emotional and economic resources, and even in the short term I've had trouble picturing myself committing to it in any sense, because even in past experiences I've found myself growing tired. So really the long and short of it is that I don't really get love. I feel like I've never been in love, and my general aversion to any and all responsibilities makes me feel like I'd be a poor partner. Maybe one day I would stumble upon someone that would make me want to change for them, but until then it isn't really an issue at all. Sometimes I do feel like, oh, it'd be nice to cuddle, especially when I watch movies cause I get stressed easily. Outside of that though, I've only found relationships to be a major form of anxiety for me. It has been a difficult mating season for bad person. Ever heard a girl say, damn, a hunchback is dead sexy? Me neither. Could be worse. You can be an old guy who spends his time in front of his fireplace singing about how much he has a boner for someone. And she'll either take that boner or burn in hell with the other gypsies. Good kids movie. Because I suck dick at text communication, and I'm shy when it comes to meeting complete strangers, i.e. on the street, grocery store, bus stop, I just can't initiate a conversation, scare myself shitless. Then when situations do come up where I can meet someone new, like a party, we usually get along great and have plans to hang out again, but then once I send a text or two it's over. This also rules out online dating or anything like that. Then my friends pretty much all moved away. Damn it, I'm lonely, but at least if I get this job I just interviewed for, I'll have a work schedule that will allow me to join clubs, so that would be nice. I think my standards are too high, and I'm too shy. Damn. It's a choice. Unfortunately not mine. Let's see, I'm not attractive. I don't drink or go to bars. I'm either at work or at home. I work at a crappy retail job. And I'm 28 and live with my mom due to extenuating circumstances. Edit. I have a BS and work crappy retail, so I'm depressed about life all the time. I'm not attracted to girls in my league. Cause I'm sort of selfish and want to do what I want when I want. I can be alone without being lonely. The Venn diagram of girls I like and girls that like me looks like Messer Tuzzle's eyes. Edit. I'm living Scrooge McDuck's wet dream. Thanks guys. Do you think girls will like me now? Cause I'm #1 fat and #2 don't ask a lot of girls out. Both things I can fix, but #3 I'm lazy. Because I'm afraid if asking a friend out and being told no and then our friendship becoming awkward. And slowly, ever so slowly, it whittles away into nothing and I never see that person again. But the only way for me to feel remotely attracted to anyone enough to date them is to get to know them over time. But by the time I get there I decide a sure friendship is better than a possible relationship. Edit. Holy shit people, thank you for all the great advice. This is the most amount of responses I've ever gotten. Oh, and happy Halloween everyone. Edit 2. Gold for months later? That's a thing. Well, thank you for whoever did that. I actually did this. I told a friend that I liked her. She told me she didn't have interest in me like that, and we eventually stopped talking altogether and married a mutual friend. You both married the same mutual friend. The long con: marry the person she wants to marry, become a polygamist. If it's really a good friendship, it will weather the awkwardness. I've dealt with it on both sides. Still friends with all parties. And I have 2 amazing friendships because of it. This has happened to me a couple times. I tend to like the girls that I get really close with. 2 times this has happened. First, I knew nothing would ever happen between us. We talked about it. Within a month we were back to normal and have a better relationship now than before. Second one, within the last few months. She was my best friend. To the point we have been to holidays at each other's homes, said I love you to each other. Stupid me, and our friends thought we were dating. She asked me if I liked her. I said yes. She said, oh, you are not my type and I don't want a relationship. Went on to get a BF a week or so later. I couldn't deal with the stress. Deep depression. Relationship ruined and all my friends ask, how is she? I haven't seen her for a while. My answer, she's busy. Because I'm a 41-year-old with all the qualifications and achievements of a 19-year-old. Because I'm 35 and newly single, divorce, and the ladies on dating websites my age are fucking horrific, in my city, which isn't big. I'm on Tinder, but I think I'm breaking rules 1 and 2. Currently planning on buying a dog and paying escorts, and then dying alone. Ah well, at least I have friends. When this girl at the museum asked me who I liked better, Monat or Manit, I said, I like mayonnaise. She just stared at me, so I said it again, louder. Then she left. I guess she went to try to find some mayonnaise for me. Honestly, I enjoy being single. I've only ever had one girlfriend and that also kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. I'm just someone who really enjoys spending time with myself. I'm still in love with my ex. It's been a while, 6 months, but I'd prefer to remain uninvolved while I get over it. I've attempted to get out there some, and when I go to the bar girls talk to me, but in the end I never get much farther than getting a number and trading texts for a day before I call it off, because I know that, even if they are into me, I can't reciprocate in earnest. The ex is not an option either. Anybody with an ex from a serious relationship can understand why. Dating in your mid to late 30s is a horror show. Most people you meet will be divorced or out of very long-term relationships. The ones fresh off a divorce are messed up in ways that make it very difficult to connect with them. No one opens up. No one wants a connection that lasts, or rather they're not ready for another one because they are an emotional mess. Basically you have to have sex by the third date, whether you want to or not, because that is what people are looking for more than love, even if they say they are looking for love. Because sex makes them feel something at a time, when they don't know if they can feel anything. Maybe if the sex is good you can be FWBs long enough that it becomes something that lasts. But it probably won't. The people who aren't divorced and just remain single until their mid-30s are almost as broken as the divorcees. They've gone through the prime of their life missing out on the standard image of life we've all been sold by the media. If the divorcees are afraid to connect, the singles just don't really know how to maintain a connection. Everyone flits from date to date, not committing to much. Why commit to anyone when there are 100 people you can match with on Tinder, Cupid, Happen, Field, etc. On those apps, people lose interest with one bad email. No, not a bad email. Just the wrong email. Does the person you matched with have an empty profile? Well, guess something about them, based on their photo, and write them a poignant letter about it, that doesn't go more than 3 sentences and pray to whatever you believe, in that it touches them, or makes them laugh, because otherwise they'll just move on to the 25 other emails they got that day. You try to meet someone at a party. The single people of the opposite sex, that you don't know gather on one side of the room. You have snippets of conversation here and there with cute strangers, but unless you really catch someone's eye or force a conversation to happen, why would they leave the comfort of their friends to try talking to someone new? You end up talking to people who are married or in relationships while their spouse is across the room trying to flirt with someone. You realize the only people of the opposite sex who will talk to you are the non-single people, because they don't have to commit to anything beyond a conversation. They have a home base to escape to, so talking to you is okay. You realize that maybe there are unhappily married people out there who flirt like that because they are comfortable but not satisfied. You talk to married people on Reddit or Craigslist or Ashley Madison where they can be anonymous and feel out potential people to cheat with. You make arrangements to meet a 35-year-old parent of 2 who has had an affair in the past. They cancel last minute, getting cold feet. You wonder how it all came to this. How generations of your ancestors were able to meet someone, fornicate, and raise children, but you can't go for more than 6 or 8 dates before someone vanishes on you. You take comfort in platonic relationships with other single friends who give you everything you'd want from a relationship but sex. Your friends criticize you for not having sex with those people, for being single. They make it a point of mockery, even though they've confessed to you time and time again that their relationship is miserable and the sex is non-existent. They envy your freedom. You envy that they belong to someone. You slowly begin to hate hanging out with them, but that's okay, because they've moved out of the city now to a suburban house or a farm, from which they call you once a month and you pretend to care about their life and they pretend to care about yours. You slowly drift apart, and that's okay. You realize that you don't mind being single, that you'd like someone in your life, but you don't need someone, that it's okay to be alone. You can live a rich life, even if it's not the life you always imagined for yourself. You're unconstrained by the responsibilities and compromises that so many of your coupled friends have made. You are mostly sad about not having the financial benefits associated with being in a relationship, because your apartment isn't that great and groceries are expensive, but having a little extra scratch and no freedom to spend it isn't the way you want to live your life. That's why I'm single. I'm a very boring guy. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything fun anymore. All I did in university was study, eat, and sleep. I also work out quite a bit, so I stay in shape. Throughout my university years, I spent all my time maintaining a 4.0 in engineering. I never went to a single party, didn't even attend Frosh Week. I made some friends, but not really the type you would hang out with outside of class. I used to love video games, but now I don't find them nearly as entertaining. Sometimes I even find them pointless. I managed to get a good project management job that pays well, but I feel my life flying by. Every day it's the same routine. Work 7 to 5, have lunch at a food court in the mall, come home, heat up dinner, watch some sports or esports, then go to sleep. I remember I used to spend time Friday nights previewing course materials to get ahead in courses and fantasizing about how much I am getting ahead. Not really though, I don't even use 5% of what I learned in class now. And most of my co-workers have half my grade in a college program that only took 23 years to complete. I invested so much time studying because I thought it would give me an edge to have a better life and career in the future. But how do you have a better life when you never really learned how to live and have fun other than being on the computer? I live in a small town, and the social scene is pretty much synonymous with the drinking scene. I'm kind of allergic to alcohol though. My entire body turns red after a bottle, so I don't drink. I've been trying to find other hobbies like tennis and squash. Things are definitely looking up. I'm not antisocial. I think my communication and teamwork skills in the workplace is pretty good. I've been actively trying to be more interesting. I wished I had a better sense of humor. I just can't seem to create interesting conversations, especially with someone who's a romantic interest. It's quite conflicting though. People have always told me not to care about what other people think. But you pretty much have to care to succeed in your career and in dating, unless you are a sociopath who can operate with external motivations. I don't want to change who I'm just to be liked. Society tell us it's good to be unique, but it doesn't always make it explicit that some type of individuals are more desirable than others. So it's your choice to be yourself, but perhaps you would be better off pursuing a persona that matches what an ideal male/female is like. Thank you so much for listening. Please support the channel by subscribing.